Welcome to my podcast series, Independence for Life, diving into management, instruction, and guidance of your lifestyle as you continue your journey through life and into retirement/older age. Hi, my name is Nancy Bronicardi. I am an integrative nutrition health coach, nutritionist, certified caregiver, and fitness professional and instructor. I work independently in every capacity as described. I am the creator of Independence for Life. I am continuing my preparation of upcoming podcasts to help guide you on your journey of Independence for Life. So let's begin your Independence for Life journey and keep in mind your why for being here today. And being healthy is not about weight loss you may experience, but about the life you gain by being a healthy weight, which is different for everyone. In my podcast number 1 and 2, I provided the basis for why I started Independence for Life and what it is. But basically, I'm here to spread the word about the importance of movement, proper nutrition, and preparation for older age, and to educate people about movement and continued mobility with exercise and proper nutrition. So today's podcast is lesson number 8. The topic is polyphenols. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Polyphenols are plant-based foods. They're also known as phytochemicals. So this is food. That's the topic today is food. Polyphenols, they are powerful and they really take care of your insides. And I thought January was a great time to talk about it because people tend to get sicker during the winter months. So this is a great topic to perhaps arm yourself with polyphenols. And I will be giving you examples of what they do and where to find them. It's a very simple topic. It just sounds a little fancy, if you will. So for today, arm yourself with polyphenols. Really every day, arm yourself with them. So what they are known for, I'm going to go over a list. Well, for one, they're powerful antioxidants that protect against oxidative stress and aging. So oxidative stress is an imbalance where there are too many unstable molecules called free radicals and not enough antioxidants to neutralize them, leading to cellular damage, DNA harm, and contributing to aging and diseases like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. And I tend to stick to those 3 or 4 or 5 diseases because they come up so often because they are leading. So that would be cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. You'll hear me say that often. Polyphenols also have anti-inflammatory properties that reduce inflammatory substances. The first one I'm going to try to pronounce to you, it's prostaglandins. I'll spell it prostaglandins, prostaglandins. Excess levels of it can cause or contribute to chronic pain and increase pain sensitivity. So these prostaglandins can be found in red meat, full-fat dairy, processed oils like corn, soy, and sunflower, fast foods, and sugary and salty items. And the other one is leukotrienes, which you may have heard that name more often than the other name. That triggers inflammation, which causes symptoms like airway constriction, extra mucus, and fluid and allergies and asthma. The leukotrienes are produced by white blood cells and other immune cells when stimulated by allergens and other triggers. Next, the polyphenols promote proper blood flow. They reduce LDL cholesterol oxidation, support blood pressure, and supports healthy blood sugar levels that are already in normal range. Next, polyphenols support brain health from damage, reduce neuroinflammation, and it may improve memory and cognitive function. Next, they promote healthy digestion because they act as prebiotics, supporting the gut health by feeding good bacteria and strengthening the gut barrier, and improves nutrient absorption. As an aside, I will be going over today pre and probiotics. Next, polyphenols promote cellular regulation, which modulates immune responses, impacts cell signaling pathways, and improves metabolic function. And it also protects the body from cell damage caused by free radicals and are linked to potential health benefits like reducing the risk of chronic diseases like the three I said before: cancer, diabetes, heart disease. But please know that they are the most powerful in their whole food form rather than in isolated supplements. So your polyphenols, they are known for basically powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, promotes proper blood flow, promotes brain health, promotes healthy digestion, cellular regulation, and protects your body from damage. So why wouldn't you want to eat these foods? Am I right? Coming up next, I'm going to go over basically the 4 categories of polyphenols, but just know that there are 8,000 types, so they're out there and available to you. So your 4, the first one makes up 60% of the polyphenols, which is a flavonoid, okay? It's an important micronutrient. You can find them in onions, red cabbage, apples, dark chocolate. The next one, which makes up 30% of polyphenols, is phenolic acids, and they are compounds which you can find in the skins, maybe of an apple, seeds, and the leaves of fruits and vegetables. Most people throw away, most of the vegetable that they purchase. So let's say a bundle of celery. I'll take those leaves and I'll put them in a soup. Or maybe an acorn squash. When I cut it open to bake it, all those seeds inside, I'll clean them up, I'll bake them, I'll eat them. So the seeds, the skin, the leaves, all have benefits to them. Your next category of polyphenols is steel beans, and they are found in the skins of grapes, peanuts, and red wine. And your last category is lignans, and they are compounds found in plants, but more specifically the seeds, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts, legumes. So basically everything that we really should be eating, it's all right there for you. It's already figured out. So next I'm going to go over the best sources. So the list is obviously extensive. Like I said, there's 8,000 types, but I'm going to give you now the best food sources for them. And you're going to hear everything I say is going to be a whole food. So number 1, we're going to go over fruits and more specifically berries. So those examples are grapes, apples, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries, elderberries, which is one of my favorites, plums, cherries, apricots, nectarines, peaches, grapefruit, lemon, pears, and pomegranates. Your next source would be vegetables, specifically leafy greens like endives, chicories, red lettuce, spinach, shallots, red and white onions, kale, cauliflower, red cabbage, broccoli, carrots, artichokes, and potatoes. So when I say potatoes, I'm not talking about French fries, okay? This is all whole food. So if you take that potato and you bake it and you eat it as such, it does have health benefits to it. Next source would be beverages. That would be your green and black tea, also peppermint tea, black coffee, right? So I'm not talking about some fancy latte with loaded creams and sugars and all those terrible chemical flavorings, and red wine. Your next source would be nuts and seeds, more specifically chestnuts, hazelnuts, pecans, almonds, walnuts, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and chia seeds. If you're going to get into the chia seed, make sure you soak them first. Let them absorb the water that you put them in. If you do not, they will try to absorb the water in your body, try to dehydrate you. So soak them before you use them. Or you can buy them in a different form. Your next source would be legumes. So black beans, white beans. Black beans are very strong with your polyphenols. Another food source would be whole grains, specifically barley, rye, oats. Next would be spices and herbs, where you can find them in cloves, turmeric, dried basil, marjoram, oregano, parsley, peppermint, spearmint, caraway, celery seed, cinnamon, cumin, ginger, rosemary, sage, star anise, and thyme. And the other category would be cocoa powder, dark chocolate, olive oil, olives, capers, and vinegar. And I did say to you earlier I was going to go over pre and probiotics because people are forever wondering which ones should they use and when. So I'm going to give you information about it, which should clearly state you should have them both all the time because they work off each other. So they are both necessary for a healthy body and mind. The right balance of each will help ensure the gut can function optimally. And if you have listened to any of my other podcasts, when I talk about food, food is fuel that has a purpose, okay? It's not just something that we have to do or get to do. It has a great purpose. And if we can compartmentalize, I believe I said that in my podcast number 7, compartmentalizing food or just things in general help you focus and see things for what they really are instead of just, shoveling the food in our mouth because we have to eat something or eating in a hurry because we don't have a lot of time. But time management will help us to slow down and see things more clear. So pre and pro. So what is a prebiotic? Well, it's a microorganism that adds to the good bacteria in the gut. And everything starts in your mouth. When you look at your food, so you're seeing it, and then you're smelling it, and then you're going to taste it. So everything starts there, but when you introduce it into your body, it starts in your mouth and goes into your gut. So that's like the beginning of everything, and then it spreads out into your body from there. So what you put into that tank, if you will, is going to go everywhere. So let's be mindful of what we're eating. So your food examples of a prebiotic: sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, miso, yogurt, mostly like fermented, okay? I know pickles are fermented and I think they're fantastic foods too, but please read the labels because you'll be shocked at the garbage, at the chemicals that they're putting in a jar of pickles. So just be careful and read all labels, and I will do a podcast about how to read a label. Next, about a prebiotic, it serves as food for the probiotic. So like I said, the pre and the pro, they work hand in hand. They really should be together. And the prebiotic helps healthy bacteria grow and flourish in the gut. Your probiotic, well, that's plant fibers that feed the good bacteria that reside in the gut. And for examples of this one, banana, garlic, leeks, which is in the onion family, asparagus, and onions. They feed off of prebiotics. So your prebiotics serve as food to the pro, and the pro feeds off the pre. And the probiotic restore and balance your gut flora. And then you say, well, what's gut flora? Good question. So it's also known as gut microbiome. You may have heard of that word as well. It is a vast community of microorganisms, which would be bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other tiny organisms living in the digestive tract, forming a crucial, complex ecosystem that does the following: helps with digestion, produces essential vitamins, trains the immune system to distinguish between harmful pathogens and beneficial microbes, protects against disease by fighting off harmful microorganisms, and helps maintain the integrity of the intestinal barrier, influences metabolism and even brain health through the gut-brain axis, but overall, it acts like a vital organ for overall health. It's influenced by your diet, your medications, specifically antibiotics, your lifestyle, and your environment, which makes it highly personal. Okay, so That's what your gut flora does. It does a lot, and it's fighting for you. So if you want something to fight for you, wouldn't you give it the best? Give it every chance it can to help you. And I did say part of that, what it does, it produces essential vitamins. So there's non-essential and there's essential. So that's very important to make sure your body's getting the essential vitamins that it requires. So you ask, well, how do I know if I have good or bad gut flora? Good question. I'm going to go over the bad gut flora, because if you have the opposite of what I'm saying, then you have the good. So the bad gut flora, your symptoms could be bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, acid reflux. It could also be fatigue, mood changes like, let's say, anxiety, depression, skin problems, maybe like acne or eczema. You may experience food intolerances, perhaps sugar cravings, or frequent infections, like getting sick often, or unexplained weight changes, could be up or down. So your gut health, it definitely impacts your mood, your immunity, and your metabolism. So if you do have bad gut flora, let's remember I'm not a medical doctor, I'm a health coach, okay? So anything further than what I'm going to tell you, you need to, talk to your doctor about it. But with my schooling and my research, I came up with some ways to perhaps improve it, and this is all with food. So just know that the recovery time is going to vary widely, and it could be a few weeks if you just have a minor shift in your gut flora, maybe to several months or longer for full restoration. But it's all going to depend on your diet, like I said, through food. Your lifestyle makes all the difference in the world if you're on any type of antibiotics and your current individual health. So you need to take all of those things into consideration. So by improving it, eating whole foods, just in general, is going to, in my opinion, I know it makes me feel better, make you feel better, okay? So if we can, start working on eating whole foods. And for these polyphenols that I did read off to you, we're looking at 2 to 3 cups as a day as a part of a 5 serving per day schedule. So 2 to 3 cups as a part of a 5 servings a day schedule. And I know maybe that sounds crazy, like, well, how can I eat fruits and vegetables all day? Work it into your diet plan, because the way that I eat 6 times a day, and I try to incorporate a little bit of it as I go. And it doesn't have to be an exact science. As long as we make the effort to crowd out the garbage with the polyphenols, or just any fruits and vegetables, we crowd out the garbage throughout the day with fruits and vegetables, whole foods, lean proteins. We want to eat a diverse diet rich in fiber, and we can get that stuff from beans, oats, berries, leafy greens, sweet potatoes. With that one, with our fiber, if we go a little heavy on that'll cause stomach discomfort, if you will. So that one, maybe we can just stick between 21 and 38 grams per day. And you can, use your internet to Google like what that would be or what that would look like, how many cups. Or again, it doesn't have to be exact, but let's try not to overdo it on the fiber. Okay. But again, crowding out the garbage and bringing in the good stuff, that alone is a big feat. That's something that will try to get you on the right path, because once you start crowding out all the garbage, you're going to crave all the good stuff. And I don't ever say deprivation, I'd say moderation. So I'm not telling you to completely cut out the garbage, saying if you start to crowd it out with the good stuff, you'll want more of the good, less of the bad. Eating a diverse diet, focusing on whole foods. That's the point I'm trying to make. Getting a variety of colorful fruits, colorful vegetables, whole grains. I'm gluten-free, and I will forever will harp on that. Nuts, seeds, legumes. These are the things that we should be eating. Lean proteins. So what's a lean protein? Chicken, turkey, a lean cut of red meat. Red meat should be in moderation. Okay, fish, right? Seafood. In this so-called diverse diet where we're talking about fiber, where we're talking about whole foods, we need to add in those fermented foods, those prebiotics. So here's where they come into play. Add them into your day. Your yogurt, kimchi, how about kefir, sauerkraut, kombucha. Also add in probiotics, banana, asparagus, onions, garlic, oats. Add in healthy fats that incorporate omega-3s from fatty fish like salmon or sardines, and also fatty or healthy fats like plant oils. But you got to watch your oils. If we stick to olive, avocado, that's your safe area, okay? Another way to improve it, like I've been saying, crowding out, is limit problem foods. But let's take a second to come to the side here to realize what I just said, right? Limit problem foods. So those two words should never be together, problem and food, because food is not a problem. What we've done to it, that's the problem. And how we eat it, and how we look at it, and how we feel about it, more importantly, how we feel about it, that's the problem. If we can compartmentalize, it should clear our brain of those feelings and see it for what it clearly is. It's a problem, food-like product, okay? So we want to limit the problem food-like products because they all are harmful to the microbiome, the gut flora. So in my podcast number 5, I talked about reducing sugar, how to do it, where to find it, what it is, what the names of it, of the sugar has become. There's just like so many different names, like how do you keep up with it? If you listen to my podcast number 5, I tell you all about it. But just in general, reducing sugar. Again, not deprivation, moderation, okay? Limiting processed food. So I'm going to go over with you exactly what that means because there are different types of processed foods. So as I go through them, you'll hear how it becomes all the way at the beginning or all the way at the end of the list, a problem food-like product, okay? So anything that's processed, it has been altered from its natural state. A natural state, so natural sounds really great, right? It's a beautiful word. We want to embrace that word. We want to look for that word, but also be aware they use that word in marketing to try to sell you problem food-like products. So we need to be aware of what we're doing, what we're looking at, and I really need to do a podcast of reading food labels and marketing. So look for that in the future. I may do that as podcast number 10. So your processed foods, you have your minimal process, which anything that's bagged, cut up, roasted, like your grocer may make it easier. So you may take a zucchini, chop it up for you, and put it in a bag and say, here you go. So you take it home, you throw it right in the pan. That's your minimal processed. Then you have your processed at its peaks, anything that's canned or frozen, because they try to preserve that produce for you. Anything with added ingredients, like for flavor or texture, like spaghetti sauce, right? So they're taking the tomato that's already been processed and they're adding ingredients to it for flavor or texture. How about your ready to eat? That's your more heavily processed, like deli meat, which is death food. So if we can avoid that, or again, moderation. And then you have your ultra processed, which is the most heavily processed, anything sweetened, artificially flavored. So you have your sodas, cereals, chicken nuggets, hot dogs. So any of these things that I'm talking about that you're like, I just cannot live without these things. So I get it. We all have them. But there are healthier versions of soda, cereal, chicken nuggets, hot dogs. And those are just examples. But there are forever healthier versions. Just if you look for them, they're there. You look for them. And if you're not sure, your grocer will certainly help you. Also, under limiting problem foods, we have the unhealthy fats. Okay, so we said reducing sugar, reducing processed foods, and now we're under reducing unhealthy fats. And what would that be? You remember that word trans fats? That's the devil, right? So anything trans or saturated fat, and that would be like fatty cuts of meat, everybody's favorite bacon, how about sausage, whole dairy, fried food, baked goods, packaged foods, your tropical oils like palm oil, okay? So those are things to limit, to try to improve your gut, your microbiome, because it wants to be healthy with you. And there are more ways to try to improve that. And let's look at your lifestyle adjustments, right? So we all have a certain way that we like to live, but if we just make, maybe baby steps into lifestyle adjustments, maybe we can start to feel better, and that will have the snowball effect. That's exactly what happened to me when I lost 50 pounds in 2008. Boy, did that have a snowball effect, not only in my weight, but in my health, but in my life. It changed my life forever for the good. And it just happened organically. I didn't have to force that. It just was. And it still is. And it continues on. So your lifestyle adjustments, how about, can we stay hydrated with plenty of water? And people are like, well, I drink iced tea, I'm drinking orange juice, I'm drinking all this stuff, I'm drinking soda, I'm drinking diet soda, I'm drinking energy drinks. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about water, H2O. And some people will say to me, I hate the taste of water, which I cannot understand. I love water, especially ice cold, delicious. So I would say to them, let's squeeze a fresh lemon in there, or throw berries in, or crush up some berries in there, or just even if you put them in your hand and squish them and then put them in the water. It doesn't have to be any fancy process to actually get the fresh fruit into your water. Just squish them and throw them in there. Whole foods are best. Okay, so stay hydrated with plenty of water for healthy digestion and to prevent constipation. And how can we combat constipation? With the 3 F's: fluid, fiber, and yes, my favorite would be fitness. Moving that body, and moving that body. Another lifestyle adjustment. Oh, guess what's next? Exercise regularly. Consistent physical activity supports a diverse and healthy gut. Did you hear the word? Did you catch the key word? Consistent. Yes, consistent. If you're the type, and there's nothing wrong with whatever type you are, I'm just giving you examples. I exercise. I did that a couple times last month, or I was trying to get into it, or that was my New Year's resolution. I didn't really stick. Well, maybe you didn't find the right type that you like, or didn't stick with it long enough to have the full effects to make you want to stick with it. Okay? So invest in yourself, invest in the time, be patient with yourself, try everything. Okay? Try it all. Why not? Especially on YouTube. Do you know how much free exercise is on YouTube? Have you seen it? It's at your fingertips at your whim, anytime you like. And you can pause it, you can rewind it, you can fast forward, whatever. It's there. No excuses. Wherever you are, it's with you. You have your phone, it's with you. Another lifestyle adjustment, manage stress. Okay, so how can we manage stress? Who doesn't have stress? We all have stress. How about practice mindfulness? Let's be mindful of what we're doing. Okay, really hone in. Instead of going 1,000 miles an hour and just plowing through life, let's be mindful. I'm guilty of that. I do many different things in my life. I try to slow down when I can and look around and be appreciative. Gratitude. Gratitude is on my list here. Let's focus on the good things. If we're focusing on all the negative all the time, of course that's going to bring you down. Focus on the good things. Gratitude. Try yoga. So here's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, I tried it once. It's so hard. I hated it. Okay, well, here's the thing about yoga. It is a practice. It takes practice. Work at it. You will find yourself getting to enjoy it the more you can do it, because the more you can do it is the more you can do it. Again, it's that snowball effect. And here's an example. I just started teaching classical mat Pilates. And at the beginning, boy, that it was, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not struggling still, but I'm not struggling as much because I'm practicing to do it on a weekly basis. So get out of your own way, get out of your own head with the, it's hard, I can't, I won't. That's all negative stuff. Say, I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to keep trying until I can do it because that's rewarding. And going back to YouTube, there's probably a ton of different types of yoga and different types of yoga instructors. There is someone out there for you to enjoy and easily follow. So don't give up on yourself. There are other stress-reducing techniques you could do, like breathing, right? Just breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, being mindful of your breath, because your breath is your one constant until the end, so rely on that. It's always there. How about meditation? Doesn't take long, right? A couple of minutes, ground yourself. What about this one? This one is huge. Are you ready? Less screen time when you're not using it for something functional, something positive, something necessary, right? Okay? I'm not saying don't play your games because your games may be helping your brain, right? You got to play games in life to keep that brain active. I'm saying all the other scrolling, all the mindless screen time. How about avoiding substances, whatever that means for you? Social connections are fantastic. How about some time outside? Fresh air, sunshine. Let's try to find maybe some enjoyable activities, some hobbies. And this next one is a good one, time management, okay? I have a for real paper and a pencil and an eraser, and I manage my time. I write it all down, what I'm going to be doing, where I'm going, how much time I spent there, time management to try to fit in everything I can in one day. And if it doesn't fit in that day, it goes to the next. Okay, time management will help keep things calm. And how about listening to your favorite music? Your phone's always with you. Music is always with you. Your next lifestyle adjustment, getting enough sleep. So we try to always aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, and that'll help support the gut's natural rhythms. Do I get that much? No. I try. As long as we try. And your last lifestyle adjustment is use antibiotics cautiously. I know people who the doctor will just prescribe antibiotics. I have a cold, he gave me antibiotics. I'm like, well, what? I'm like, so let's use them when they're really necessary because they can kill the beneficial gut bacteria. So let's just be, again, mindful of what's happening to us, what we're eating, what we're doing, how are we sleeping, are we staying hydrated, are we trying to breathe, and just try to keep everything mindful and using our gratitude and keeping the positivity around us. I'm going to jump back to food here for a moment and about labels about your produce. So I didn't want to skip this section here. So each piece of fruit that you buy at the grocery store, if that's where you buy it, they come with a little sticker. I'm sure you've seen these stickers because they're annoying to peel off every single piece of fruit that you want to eat. They have numbers. They all start with a 3, a 4, an 8, or a 9. So I'm going to break down what that is so you are better armed when you're making your choices at the grocery store. So your 4-digit codes, they start with a 3 or a 4. And these are items that were conventionally grown, and that means items produced using standard traditional farming methods, which often involve synthetic pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers, and they're sometimes GMO. And they do this to maximize yield, control pests, and ensure consistent, efficient production. And that contrasts with organic methods that avoid these synthetic inputs. Okay, so 3s and 4s, not ideal, but the cost of it is cheaper, right, than anything that's organic. And it's also a better choice than your problem foods, okay? So making those choices or being armed with information so you can make the best choices for you, that's the point of my podcasts. So 3s and 4s, not the best, but it's better than problem foods. Then you have 5-digit codes that starts with 8 or a 9. So anything with an 8 is a GMO, genetically modified organism. Number 8 ain't so great, if that helps you to remember, okay? 9, that's your certified organic. It's not just organic, it's certified organic, which is extremely important. Okay, so when you're looking at your produce, 3, 4, 8, and 9, that's what those numbers mean. So I'm going to flip this on you and look at the reverse effects. We're going to now talk about non-communicable diseases. That means that you can't, like, these aren't the types that spread to other people. So what do polyphenols have to do with non-communicable diseases? Well, I'm going to tell you. They are therapeutic, which means they are relating to the healing of a disease. So polyphenols are therapeutic agents to help alleviate or mitigate non-communicable diseases burden, because it is a burden, okay? Having these diseases is a burden, and I will go over that as well. So, the world's leading cause of death and disability requiring lifelong management. That would be your non-communicable diseases. So, we want to talk about lifelong management. So if you have a disability because of one of these non-communicable diseases, lifelong management, what does that mean in detail? I want you to have the full picture of what's happening when you're constantly eating nothing but garbage and chemicals all the time. What's going to happen in the future, whether it be now or later. Okay? That's the other point of my podcast, Independence for Life. Preparing for the future, preparing for older age. Eating garbage all the time, it's not going to get you where you think that you want to be, or where you want to be, or you know you want to be. So, if you're treating yourself poorly and you happen to come upon a disability requiring lifelong management, let's look at what that is. So, at the beginning of my podcast, you know I said I'm a certified caregiver, and I see this all the time. And this is one of the prompts for me starting this podcast, because of what I see when I do my caregiving. What happens to people who don't prepare for old age, or don't eat right, or don't move, they just sit, okay? So I want to try to give you, again, ammunition for life. So, lifelong management. That means continuous, multi-stage process of coordinating care, support, and interventions to help an individual with a permanent or chronic condition live independently and maintain their quality of life. So you hire somebody like me. You hire the caregiver. Okay? Once you're at that point and you're like, I need a caregiver, I need some help, well, you need to identify available resources, because caregivers are not cheap. Insurance is not going to cover you unless you have that specific plan. Most people don't pay out of pocket. I see it all the time. Thousands and thousands of dollars. So once you're in this position and you have this disability, then you have to go for proactive treatment of the primary condition and the prevention of the secondary conditions that come along with it. So here you are trying to, find your resources to hire the caregiver to help you day to day, right? With your activities of daily life, like bathing, dressing, mobility, all of this in an attempt to stay home versus a nursing facility, which is even worse than what you're going to be going through at home with the caregiver, which could be a stranger, or maybe even worse, some families could be a family member. Okay? So these are the things that come along with lifelong management. finding help, finding the resources to find the help. You know, having to deal with your primary condition and to try to avoid a secondary condition. So now you're fighting all of this stuff, trying to get assistance. Having somebody help you getting dressed, helping you take a shower, helping you eat, helping you shop, helping you walk, helping you out of the chair, helping you in and out of bed, changing a diaper. I've seen this all firsthand. Okay? And not to say that these people did anything wrong, but if you have enough ammunition and try to better yourself and what you're doing, perhaps that will give you a leg up or prolong any of these types of scenarios. That's what drives me every day with trying to eat better and remaining in exercise mode, to try to prolong any of that. Okay, so your non-communicable diseases, they are ever increasing, and it's worldwide, and it's due to sedentary lifestyle and inactivity, excuse me, tobacco and alcohol, junk food, and poor diet. Okay, so all of this says to me, eating junk, not moving, smoking and drinking. So we have to find that balance that works for us. Again, I'm not saying deprivation, I'm saying moderation. If you make sedentary lifestyle, junk food, poor diet, tobacco and alcohol your life, I'm scared. So if we can turn it around and use those polyphenols as therapy, why not? I only see positivity in that. You know, being proactive all the time. Excuse me. Making it a habit. Making it a habit, it'll become a habit, it'll become second nature. Meal prep for preparedness, being prepared, time management. Calendars, paper, pencil, write it down, be prepared, make a list, have a plan. These are things I talk about in my other podcasts. These are things I do personally since 2008, since I had my lifestyle change. I still do them to this day. I don't even think about it. It's just how I am. It's just who I am. So I was talking to you about the non-communicable diseases, but I didn't tell you what they are. I did say that they're not passed person to person. They are primarily cardiovascular diseases like heart attack, stroke, cancer, chronic respiratory diseases like COPD, asthma, diabetes. So those are the words that I keep saying. I need to take a drink of water, excuse me. They also affect your mental health. How about neurological disorders, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, chronic kidney, chronic liver diseases. You know, all these things sound pretty terrible. But if we make the attempt, you know, it all sounds positive, and then hopefully that will resonate in the rest of your life, have the snowball effect. Proactive all the time. Make it a habit. It'll become organic. Preparedness. Plan. Make a plan. I'm just going to give you a few quick tips here. So when I was talking about having a diversified diet, so what I was really talking about was, you've heard this term before, or this expression, eat the rainbow. Totally eat the rainbow. When you go to the grocery store, wherever you buy your produce, step back, look at what's there. Look at the colors. You don't have to pick every single color for every single day of the week, okay? It doesn't have to be that way, but get a variety. So if you go shopping once a week, look at what colors are available to you. Try to pick one of each. Try something new. If you see a vegetable you don't know what that is, you can Google it. You have your phone with you. And just give it a try. You don't know unless you try. So different colors are different polyphenols, and variety is key, okay? And when we talk about things like apples or maybe even grapes, no peeling, no straining, okay? Skins and seeds hold concentrated polyphenols. So if you're feeling sick, get all the concentration you can. Eat all the polyphenols that you can. And remember, this is your last tip, fresh sources. Whole foods are key, not your supplements, because our body doesn't really understand that as well as it understands a whole food, because your body knows exactly what to do with those. It knows exactly what it wants and what it needs, and it tries to tell you. If you listen to it, it'll tell you. So that's going to conclude podcast number 8 for today, of polyphenols. Number 9, I'm going to talk about a sedentary lifestyle, and I'm going to make myself a note for number 10 to talk about food labels and marketing and how to help you shop better, okay, if you're not quite sure how to shop. So I thank you for being here today, for listening to my podcast number 8. I appreciate any time that you can give to me. If you have any questions, you can reach me by email, and that would be, I'm going to say it out for you, IND, the number 4, LIFELLC@gmail.com. Okay, I am Nancy Brunicardi, and this is Independence for Life.